This is Mr. Rand, and welcome to What the Format. Today I wanted to go over graphing quadratics. There's a form of quadratics besides standard form and vertex form, and there's a method of finding the vertex besides completing the square and putting it from standard form into vertex form. Okay, most curriculums cover the standard form to vertex form and graphing quadratics from there and making tables. But there is a third form of a quadratic, and it's intercept form is what they call it, also called factored form. So let me give you an example. So let's say I have x squared plus 4x minus 12. Okay, we can factor this. Going back over your factoring pattern, we find the factors of 12, factor pairs of 12, the ones that subtract a 4, and we find that it's 6 and 2. So we write it as x plus 6 times x plus 2, okay? So if we had y equals or f of x equals, it doesn't really matter, okay? It's either an equation or it's either an equation form or function form. What matters is that, hopefully you caught that that's supposed to be a minus 2, not plus 2, okay? What matters here is these numbers are called your zeros or your roots. Well, I'm sorry, the opposite of these numbers are your zeros or your roots or your x-intercepts. Well, why is that? Well, when we set this equal to 0, the zero product property says one of these two numbers has to be equal to 0, one or both, but they're different numbers, so in this case, either of them can be 0. So notice that when we solve for x, we get minus 6. So here we have x minus 2 equals 0. We add 2, you get x equals 2. Okay, those are now your zeros or your roots, your solutions, your x-intercepts. It's got 4 names. Now, the significance to this is in the graph, okay, negative 6 right there, and 2, those are the points it crosses the x-axis. Now, at this point, these are far enough apart, we only need one more point to graph these, and what we want is the vertex. Well, the vertex is halfway between these two. So how do you find the halfway point? Well, just add them together and divide by 2. Negative 6 plus 2 divided by 2 is negative 4 over 2, which is negative 2. That makes this your axis of symmetry. It's halfway in between the two. Now, to find the other point, all you have to do is plug this in, okay, because this is the axis of symmetry, x equals negative 2. Just plug it in, and you can plug it either into here or into there. All easier to just plug it into here. So what you have is you have negative 2 plus 6 times negative 2 minus 2. That's going to be 4 times negative 4, which is minus 16. And yeah, that's way down here, okay? But we just guesstimate it's somewhere down here, minus 16. And it can be, if the teacher gives you a graph and doesn't go down that far, which unfortunately does happen, because the combinations of these numbers that are close enough together to fit on a window on a graph they give you on a test is not very big, okay? So, but you can just kind of guess down there, and then all you do is you come down here and you graph it. And we know that we have our axis of symmetry there, so that's your AOS, x equals negative 2. They asked for that. We have our vertex now, okay? That's the negative 2, negative 16. We found our vertex, okay? We also know that that's our minimum. Why is it a minimum? Because it goes up, and you know it goes up because the A is positive here. Remember, if A is greater than 0, it goes up. And what's your A? Well, your A is the number in front right here. If there's no number in front, that's considered a 1. Okay, so positive 1, it goes up, so that means this is your minimum. So your minimum is negative 16. There you go. And if they want your range from there, okay, you just say y is greater than or equal to negative 16. Because if you have a minimum, your range is always y is greater than or equal to whatever the y coordinate of the vertex is, or your minimum. So factoring it, finding that the axis symmetry is right in between those two numbers after you solve for them, and notice your factors and your zeros are opposites, okay? And that's how you do a problem like that. Hopefully this helps for those who are struggling with some things like this. I'm going to come back and go over this problem or one like it with a different set of way to do it on the next video. But in this video, this is how you use intercept form or factored form to find your key parts of a quadratic function or equation and graph it. This has been Mr. Hanna with What the Format. Thank you for watching. Happy mathing.